Hello and welcome. I'm just going to go into a new thing. I'm going to start a new series where what I do is I play some Pro Evolution, or maybe sometimes I play some Pro Evolution or FIFA. And what I do is I play a game and I give my opinion on certain things that are going on in football at the moment. Most of it's going to be probably about Man United, but I'll try and do some streams, my football thing, where I'm working with playing with some games with my brother, who will probably talk about Millwall, and we'll work from there. Just see how it goes. It's just a different thing in sort of concentrating on what's going on in football at the moment, and most of it will be about probably Man United or Millwall, but I'll try and talk about other teams. We'll just see. But while I'm playing this game, I'll talk about a little bit about Man United when I play a Master League for Man United. Haha. Yeah. Anyway, my whole real point of this video was just to say at the moment is like, you've got two separate sections of fans. You've got the fans at Man United who are quite happy with seeing how things go, giving the manager time, seeing whether everything changes. You've got other groups who have their favourites, like to be honest, you've got this ridiculous amount of people that are fans of certain players, because the manager's fallen out technically with certain players. We might as well just boycott the manager and want him sacked and get somebody else in. And if you're a Man United fan, or if you're not a Man United fan, leave your comments down below and talk about whether signing 3 players was considered worse than what, like, just say, and I don't mean any disrespect, saying what Tottenham did, signing no players. This game, obviously, I've signed Trippier, I've signed Maguire, I've signed Fred in it, because obviously this is Pro Evolution 2008, I think, 9 or whatever, one of them, 2008, and they aren't in the team yet. So this is a Super Cup final against Real Madrid. Let's just see if I can actually win. I'm playing on kind of medium level, so I've got De Gea in goal, Lindelof, Maguire, Trippier, Shaw, Sanchez, Matic, Lindegaard, Pogba, Martial and Lukaku up front. I'll start with a couple of little things at the moment. Right, one, my problem is that any player, no matter who they are, no matter what name they are, if they honestly don't want to be at Man United...
Who do you think this turns on, Jim?
Okay.
Simply because of the remarkable strides he's made to earn the worldwide respect that now exists. From
right,
an
now,
insecure, hesitant
I will say I've been playing FIFA a lot, so okay, I kind of been screwed up straight away. Yeah, I forgot what game I was playing. Anyway,
they have a habit of making their presence felt, and here we are, early stages. He struck one, and he looks hungry.
Okay, that wasn't very good. That wasn't a good start. Anyway, in this game itself, but anyway, talking about Martial. If Martial wants to leave, let him go. That's my opinion. We've had players like Beckham, Keane, who have not wanted to leave, but have been forced at the club. So let's not keep players who don't want to be there. Please excuse me there. I'm just pressing the wrong button. Excuse me for a minute. Right, that ends.
Big occasion, big goal, crucial lead. Shaw. I've
got Luke Shaw playing left back.
Alexis Sanchez.
Oh my good God, really bad. Anyway, yeah,
he might just get the benefit of any doubt
to the point, and I'll see if I can actually work this, because I don't know how this would work playing the game while talking about Man United. I might lose concentration, which is already proven to be a factor in conceding a goal straight away.
That's a foul. It's a decision for the referee. Not taking him long.
Oh, that's a surprise. The yellow card straight away. Anyway, yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, at the moment I think there's a lot of calls for a manager to be sacked. I can't see making any major difference.
Oh, look, his determination.
Yeah, I really can't see it being a difference at the moment. I really don't. And that's not out of any loyalty to Mourinho. I wasn't really a big fan of Mourinho when he first.
Sanchez will try cutting in. Header! It's anyone's ball. Oh, it's going to be pulled back for that one.
Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Mourinho at the beginning. I'm quite happy. I wasn't overly peed off and we start crying into my cornflakes over it. But what can you say? Anyway, but if you don't give the manager the players he wants, the team he wants, how is he supposed to be successful? This is one I would always argue. If he doesn't have what he wants, then you're going to have a problem.
About headlines, I'm sure, but he ought to focus more on breaking lines. Tony Kroos.
Yeah, by the side of on the bottom, where the box is.
Cristiano Ronaldo!
Right.
Stop. That wasn't easy.
Yeah, you're going to have a serious problem if you don't back the manager and not giving him the players he wants. Doesn't matter if his style of football is bad, doesn't matter if it's absolute rubbish, doesn't matter if you totally agree with it. Oh my God, that was bad. You really have to go with it. You have to back him, you have to buy the players he wants, try and do deals, try and do a decent amount of... and I'm hoping... Oh,
it's Lukaku!
Oh, you bugger. Could you stop, please? Anyway, but the biggest problem at Man United at the moment, I think, is from top to bottom. There's no structure when it comes to the youth team. So we've got loads of decent players. There's good players like Chong. There's some good players, but compared to what we've had, there's no striker. That's my biggest fear. We have not got a striker that come in from the youth team and just do a good job.
Dashing Lukaku.
Thank you very much. Lukaku always does it. You've got fans who forget that we haven't got. Well, I suppose I'm not going to put the fans at the bottom, but you've got fans who forget that seem to forget that Ferguson's not in charge anymore, and they expect us to win every game, expect us to win every league title, and you can't argue with the fact that there are other teams that are doing it better. Man City, Liverpool have done some really good business through the summer. So it's not. Oh, for God's sake! I keep forgetting I'm not playing that one. I think I need to change the D-pad thing because I'm moving D-pad at the moment and I'm not used to it now.
Shaw plays it wide, goes for it.
Okay, that was a bit weird. But I will try and concentrate because it's quite difficult to concentrate on playing a game and talking about, especially Man United, because there's a lot to talk about at the moment. But this will be quite an ongoing series. I'll play my Master League, play a couple of games a week, try and talk about Man United games that happen, how well or badly Man United played. Because Man United have a tendency of playing badly at times, like every team does. And then I'll try and do some streams a couple of times a week with my brother, and we can talk a bit about Millwall. Oh, come on, that was a good tackle. But yeah, I'll try and do some streams with David. We can talk about some Millwall. I will try and talk about other teams, as I said. But yeah, back to the Man United thing. The whole system. The whole system is kind of semi-broken when it comes to Man United. There's people in charge of the board that have no idea when it comes to football. And if you have to have football people. That's my personal opinion. You can't have some stupid twat who doesn't know anything about football, only knows business. Because business is fine. I have a CEO like Woodward, who I don't blame. Woodward is a yes man who's working as a face for these faceless people. Like any member of the board you can pretty much fucking name. They're all useless. Every single member of the board have no idea what they're talking about. You appoint a manager, and you don't back that manager, then what is the point? You might as well have basically left Moyes in charge, and basically backed Moyes. Because even with David Moyes, what's to say that David Moyes wouldn't have been winning us the league by now if they had kept faith with him? It was Woodward and the board that stopped him from signing certain players. He's taken the blame for it, because of course he's going to take the blame for it.
He's left his man. Here it comes.
Oh my God. Yeah, so
heaves it forward.
There is a lot of problems at Man United at the moment.
Martial. It's Martial. It's bounced
out. Oh, it's Lukaku. Anyway, let's hope that Lukaku does that tomorrow night. Is it tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow night we play.
That's no fluke.
But
what he was there for.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a director. There's a lot of talk about a director of football at the moment about Man United, and maybe I need to turn this down because I'm kind of talking over top of it. Maybe a director of football is the answer for Man United. I don't know why. We've never really needed one. If you back them, if the chairman and the CEO and whoever back the manager, there's no real need for a director of football.
Manchester
but
into the lead.
It's not like other teams have suffered by not having one. But
and all of a sudden,
anyway, I just think we're going to go the route of other team managers. And there are rumours of fans that want Zidane gone, want Zidane in, and Mourinho gone. I just don't see, on the subject of Zidane, I just don't see how. I think he's 3 Champions League finals, 3 Champions League wins in a row is masking that he's not that amazing a manager. He doesn't give us anything we haven't got already. He doesn't play a style of football that presses, and that's the biggest problem with most Man United fans. We don't press. Oh, thank you. That's a good one.
A 2-goal cushion.
Okay, you just dabbed, mate. Anyway, yeah, there's some good players there at the moment. There's a good team, and yes, maybe Mourinho's not getting the best out of them, but there are certain players that aren't performing, and you can't argue with that. You can't blame a manager for players that are not performing well. You can.
Listen, it's up to them now how they think about it from here, because
let's take Matic off
for them to force the issue.
And let's bring on our new player, Fred. Let's take Lingard off and bring on Gomez, and let's take off Martial and bring on Rashford. Yep. Yeah, so just saying, you can't always.
Modric.
You can easily blame the manager. You can blame whoever. You can blame the team lady. Maybe she's not making the right tea for the players.
Now it's Lukaku.
But you have to give a bit of a benefit. You can't just always blame the manager. You can't say when Man United win it's the players, their class, but when Man United lose it's the manager. You have to keep
back up his high-class wage.
You have to keep it realistic.
Martial, he hits it.
Oh my God. I will say that, and in my defence, in this game you're watching at the time I'm talking, that I'm used to playing FIFA, and I'm kind of having to adjust to the changes in buttons. And that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
Ronaldo just doesn't give up. You just know he'll be in there again before long. Martial.
Typical fucking Martial. Yeah, no, I mean, the fans love Martial, but you've got to admit that Martial is absolutely piss poor in the last, the last league match he played, the last 2 friendlies he played. He hasn't been performing well enough, and you have to give criticism where criticism's due. You can't just say so and so, the manager's being shit, and then say, oh, Martial's great, we love him. It's the manager's fault he's playing bad. Because the manager can't be taken. The manager takes responsibility for the way. I agree. But the manager takes responsibility for the way the team's set up, the way the team perform. But also, and on the other sense, you can't blame the manager if the team are not performing, and the manager's not going out and saying, "Can you please lose for me? Because it would be much easier for me if you lose." And he's not saying, "Can you please not pass the ball?" I mean, there are people that criticising Fred. Fred has only played 2 games so far in the Premier League. And I'm kind of talking a bit quick, so I do apologise if I'm rambling through this. And I had a better plan to what I was going to say and what I wasn't going to say. There are players that are earning 150 to 200 grand a week wages. Have I got Lukaku? Can he score? No, he can't because I put it over the bar. Anyway, yeah, there are players that are not performing to the standards that are set by the club, and they need to find responsibility for that. And you've got Pep Guardiola only yesterday coming out with, my players are still tired from the World Cup. But if Mourinho says my players aren't fully match fit yet because of the World Cup, he gets criticised.
Running with the ball. Can they build on it?
So what is it? Is Guardiola allowed to have an excuse, but Mourinho not allowed to have an excuse? And that doesn't make any sense whatsoever, because most of Man United's players played in the semi-final. Quite a few of them, the top players played semi-final, played quarter-final, played final. I mean, Pogba's played 2 full matches, and he's not actually had a proper 3-week holiday. He's not had a break. He's not had a full a proper couple of weeks of training with his squad, with new players. He's expected to go into a midfield with a new player, and not and have to basically adjust, because even if it's a 3-man midfield, he's still got to be able to get used to playing. Last year he was playing with Herrera, he was playing with Matic, he was playing with McTominay. This season, so far, he's played with Pereira, as he's played with Fred, who he's not used to playing alongside. It takes time for players, anybody, to adjust to a new style, a new set of players. Even Fred, he's got a whole new team to get used to. And these, like Martial, I'm going to get abuse if I get anybody that's a Man United fan who likes Martial, who reads this, who looks at this and here's what I say. But everybody complained about Sanchez in the first game. He kept giving the ball away. But you've got to have the ball to give it away. How many times did Martial have the actual ball in that second game? How many times did he call for the ball? Did he make himself available for it? He didn't. He played the game as if he expected everybody to pass to him, to not make any decent moves. He made a couple of good runs, he made one good ball and shot straight at the goalkeeper. So, if he just hits it straight at the goalkeeper, does that mean we have to congratulate him because he can't shoot, he can't beat the keeper? Because I really don't see how you can pick one player and be on their side against a manager, because that does not help. You have to be equal in all criticism. You can't just criticise one player and then let the others get away with letting that player get away with everything you're criticising everyone else for. What are we doing? Open to... Oh, he's already on transfer. I'm selling Fellaini in this game, by the way. I'm going to sell Darmian, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, there's an awful lot wrong at the moment. And most of my reviews, obviously, are going to probably last one game in here. But they could last longer. I do not know. I have no idea. Because I'll play the away game. I'm not too... Well, same with the Man United kits in this game. But anyway, I'm not really here to talk about that. It's like, we sit here and we say that Pochettino is a fantastic manager, which he is. I am serious. I'm never 1 second criticise Pochettino. I think he's a brilliant manager. But you have to sort of break it down and say, right, what has he won? So far in football, what has he actually achieved? He's achieved a great style of football. But a great style of football doesn't necessarily win you a league. Why do none of those players look like that? I'm the team in white. That's why. I'm an idiot. A great style of football doesn't necessarily win you a league title. As it proved last season, Man City were absolutely fantastic. And 19 points behind Man City isn't bad when you think they beat records. 81 points for Man United last season would have been good enough to challenge and be close to a title winning team. But because Man City was so... Because Man City was so good, it made it look worse than what it was. Liverpool, Tottenham, for all the great football they got, how many points behind Man City do they finish? Because no one's pointing that out. Everybody is picking at the moment and saying, right, Man United finished, 5 points ahead of Man City, of Liverpool. But they also, if you think about it, Liverpool, for the great football they played, finished 24, 25 points behind Man City. So isn't that criticism where criticism's due? You can't criticise one team and let the other ones have a get out of jail free card. It has to be a fair run of criticism. At the moment, I mean, it's easy to slag Man United off. There's no Ferguson there at the moment. Obviously Ferguson left years ago. Mourinho's an easy target. Mourinho isn't a much easier target to criticise and to pick on and say, but you can't say. I mean, I love watching. I will say I don't particularly like watching Liverpool play, but I do enjoy watching Tottenham play. But they do have a tendency of bottling in certain games, and there's no criticism for it. You can't criticise Man United for finishing second, and not criticise Tottenham for bottling chances to finish in second or third. Because Pochettino is one of the best managers around, and if I was honestly say, if Mourinho was to leave tomorrow, Pochettino would easily be the manager that I'd want to take over. Because I just think there's something special about the way that he manages, the way he deals with players, and very similar to the way that Fergie dealt with players. He's got a good style of football, an interesting style of football to watch. And yeah, I'm not happy with Mourinho's style of football at times, but the only team that beat us in the top 6 challenge was Man City. And people didn't criticise that. That's like Sky Sports. Every single season, Man United struggle in a top 6 battle at times. But every single season they bring that top 6 chart out, apart from last season when Man United were doing well. And Man United fans have been the bigger problem than actual opposition fans and teams beating us. Man United fans have been a disgrace. And I will honestly say that as a Man United fan, 60% of our fan base have been an absolute disgrace. If you don't back the manager and you don't back the team, if you think the finishing second isn't good enough, then you don't deserve to be a Man United fan. Because we don't have a God-given right to win the league. Nobody has a God-given right. You have to earn that. And Man United have not earned that in years. Man City, as much as I hate to say it, they deserve what they got last season. They were the best team in the league by far. They performed well. Like Liverpool, you could say played better football than Man United, but how many games did Liverpool actually look like they were mediocre? Thank you. Lukaku! But that really is my point, is that you can't judge that team. It's like I would say that even like Tottenham will know that their players at times, or their players let them down at times. I'm talking, Sam!
Manchester, it's all first blood here. Listen, when it comes to goals, Peter, in this team, he's always the number
sort
one
of certain players would bottle it when it comes to it. I mean, Harry Kane obviously is a phenomenon. You really can't argue with how good Harry Kane is as a player. But
it's Lukaku. It's Lukaku.
The rest of the team around him. Oh, what a finish!
From
Sanchez. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't care if 50% of Man United's team don't want to play for the team anymore, don't want to play for Mourinho anymore. Sell them. I don't care who the next manager is. I don't care whether the next manager gets the best out of those players. If those players do not want to be at my club now, then they can go. They can leave the club, they can pack their little bags, they can take their little pay packets and take that pay packet to somewhere else. It's like this thing with Pogba at the moment. It's nothing to do with Pogba being unhappy with Mourinho. It's all to do with Pogba wanting a pay rise. There is no way and no doubt in my mind that Pogba is not going to come back to Man United and then want to leave after 2 years. He's going to want to prove Ferguson wrong. This is the whole idea of, this is the whole reason why he came back, why he agreed. He wants to pick. He wants to. Please stop it, Sam.
He's having a look round. Lukaku.
Oh, Lukaku. Yeah, he wants basically to prove Ferguson wrong for getting rid of him in the first place. The only reason why there are rumours about him leaving is because his agent has sat there and thought, if I offer him around, I'm talking, Sam. If I offer him around, then he can, I can get a better deal for him. This is the biggest problem with the board wanting to sign Sanchez. 300 grand a week wages, excellent. He's a good player. I can't argue with the fact that Sanchez is a decent player. But giving him 300 grand a week wages means that other players like Pogba are going to want that same money. I'm talking, Sam. Don't ruin my live stream, please.
Stanislas Wilson. That's a good foot in there.
But if you don't, it goes back to my point. You don't want to be at the club. Go, leave the club. You back the manager.
Defending was strong and firm.
I do apologise for leaving but certain person doesn't like football in this house, so he wants to ruin my live stream. My little.
Lukaku, he's got away.
Well, you're doing a good job at not trying to. While I'm doing this, please don't keep saying Dad every 2 minutes. Oh, a bit too much power on that one.
The half-time whistle goes. As easy as 1, 2, 3.
Please stop.
Really has been that straightforward. Halfway through the match, but very little to suggest that much will change over the second half. Peter, do I really need to say anything?
Right, second half. I meant to make some substitutions. Ruining my live stream now, Sam. Thanks. As yet again, you don't have football, fine. Deal with it. Right, Lindelof. Fred. I'm going to take Lukaku off actually, and let's put Gomez through the middle, youngster. Right.
That's the start of another 45 minutes.
Martial runs through the line, puts the ball in. Oh, Lukaku just misses it. I'm playing a game, Sam. I'm doing my live stream. Be quiet, please. Alright, that's enough. After this game, I'll stop the live stream and you can do it. I do apologise for my first ever one getting ruined, but somebody doesn't like football, so they want to ruin it. You're not sorry, because I knew you were going to do it. Anyway, what was I talking about?
Well, Peter, I would say it was worth a try.
No, you're being rude to me. I'm doing a live stream and you're doing this. You've ruined my live stream in the middle of it. Now I've forgotten what I was talking about. I can't redo it.
That is a poor kick by the keeper, being intercepted.
Anyway, with that, yeah, the structure needs to be sorted out at Man United at the moment. Sam, shut up!
And it's Stanislas. Rashford.
There's a whole...
It's Rashford!
Oh, just missed. Anyway, there's the structure from top to bottom. The board need to reassess whether you want people on the board that don't know anything about football, whether they need to be in control of football when they don't know anything. I don't necessarily want to blame the manager or the CEO, because it's not like Woodward came out at the beginning and said, I know everything about there is to know about football, because he was already pretty clear that he was learning that job as he went along. So I don't particularly blame Woodward. Woodward's got people above him that are telling him what to do. It's easy at the moment. It's this blame culture. We can not sign who the manager wants, and then we can blame it on Woodward. We can blame it on the manager. When the people that are actually to blame for not wanting to release the money, who have just made Woodward's made Man United a fortune. So shut up, Sam. Woodward has made Man United an absolute fortune. If you fucking say that one more time, I'm not playing Minecraft tonight. No, we're not playing Minecraft tonight. You just ruined your Minecraft night now. I just made it quite clear. Stop keep saying it. I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to do a live stream. You've ruined my live stream again.
Good work on the right flank. Now, what's next?
And Woodward is kind of the face of it, but not the response. He doesn't take the full responsibility for the mistakes they're making.
He scores!
Try to do this football thing I was telling you about, and you keep saying dad through it to ruin it. I said to you to wait till the end of it, and I'll say to you.
Lovely header, but really it was all about the delivery.
Didn't want to say anything before or after. As soon as I start.
To direct it exactly where he wanted into that net. I think when it comes to the aerial department, this fella is definitely no slouch.
Manchester.
I'll just delete this video after it's been put up. It's pointless now.
Ruthless. Ball? Wilson! Oh, he's kept it out. That's a great save.
Well, the defence are in a good position to get behind the ball and let them just try from range.
Rashford.
Another one.
Sticks it away. Well, just another one.
Yeah,
to
you have to sort out certain problems. Getting a new manager is not going to make a difference if the ball have got too much control. Ball keep the control they've got at the moment. The whole thing is screwed.
Razor. And it's Stanislas. Wilson. Sermon. Stanislas. Razor. Stanislas.
Yeah,
and that has put paid to that.
Did I make 3 subs? Yeah, I think
penetrate opposition lines. Looks to clip it forward. Oh, well defended. That had to be done. Keeper's got good distance on that.
Yeah, no, there's problems that can easily be sorted, and probably my next match that I talk about will be after
striding forward, facing goal.
Man United play Tottenham, but after losing 3-2 to Brighton in a game where certain players let us down. I think the next game will be.
He ran himself into trouble there. Free kick.
We'll probably more likely go and beat Tottenham, but if we don't, we don't.
And it's Trippier. He's left his man, and the finish. Oh, impressive strike.
Yeah, if we don't, we don't. And there's players there that can hang their heads in shame, because I'm not one for just totally blaming the manager. I know he sets up tactics, I know he tells the players what to do, but I don't think for 1 second, as I keep saying, that he's telling the players to go out and play that poorly.
Referee looks at his watch and blows his whistle.
And as for Man United, the last thing I will say before I come off this, as if there's any Man United fans that randomly look at this channel,
so what do you take away from it all, Jim?
If you think
to have hit the ground running.
that by getting Zidane will make an advantage. Just remember, Zidane does not play pressing football.
Very good night to you.
And this is your biggest problem with Mourinho. He doesn't play pressing football. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say we want Zidane because he won 3 Champions Leagues in a row, when Zidane had the best team around. Anybody could have won. That's the thing. And really being honest, anybody could have won something with that team. It was a fantastic achievement, but league-wise, I'd take the league over the Champions League, and if it means getting a manager that can do well in the league, do it. But the structure at my club needs to change first and foremost before anything else. And that's the last thing I would say, and that's after my first league match here. Thank you very much for watching, and please excuse my rant, and please excuse everything getting ruined in between. But I will speak to you all after, probably some point after the Tottenham game, and I will do my review of what I think about the Tottenham match. Anyway.